Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Fine folks, let me tell you something. Goldilocks is sharing some invaluable information today related to the backing of gold in the banking system that goes live on July 1st, which is the Basel III endgame. And you know that it will be gold that backs all currencies that will safely allow the RVGCR. Let's jump right into what Goldilocks is sharing today. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, during its meeting in Stockholm, Sweden, just this past week on May the 20th, and May the 21st, they focused on key points, key elements necessary to assure that all banks, all central banks, and all banks around the world are ready for July 1st. First, they spoke on the implementation of Basel III. The committee emphasized the ongoing priority of implementing these Basel III reforms in all banks around the world, and yes, the central banks. Remember, it is the central banks that govern and control the currencies. So, for example, the Central Bank of Iraq for the Iraqi dinar, the Central Bank of Vietnam for the Vietnamese dong, and so forth and so on. So, this meeting that was had on the 20th and 21st was to assure that on July 1st, the measures for all banks for capital requirements, meaning the banks having enough money, liquidity in the event of a financial crisis, gold in the event, enough gold in the event of a financial crisis, so forth and so on, and also the supervisory effectiveness, meaning that to make sure that once this goes live on July 1st, the Basel III requirements, that it's monitored effectively. Also, the digitalization of the banking system on July 1st. There's a quote. This is a quote I'm about to share with you from the committee stating, quote, "The committee reviewed the comments received on its consultation on supervisory principles for the sound management of third-party risk in the banking sector." This is the digitization, folks. This is the quantum financial system. Continuing in the quote, "It also discussed an analysis on the risks and benefits from the bank's reliance on third-party service providers," end quote. What is that? That is the blockchain, third-party service providers. How will our currencies move? On the blockchain. What is the blockchain? Also called the quantum financial system. Also, what is called the quantum financial system? The digital asset-based trading system. This all goes live in all banks Not just small banks, not just medium-sized banks, not just your neighborhood banks, but central banks and all banks around the world. This meeting was it was a confirmation that on July 1st, for what is to happen with the gold backing in all banks around the world. Goldilocks is also sharing something very significant that happened in Hong Kong. Nope, don't think that because it's Hong Kong and you haven't invested in the Hong Kong currency that doesn't relate to you. Yeah, right. Think that if you want to. All currencies are connected to all currencies. Why? Because all countries trade with all countries. Therefore, they have to deal with all currencies of each other. So just yesterday, Hong Kong, speaking of stablecoins, speaking of the Genius Act in the United States, Hong Kong passed their own stablecoin legislation just yesterday. The legislation is expected to come into force later this year and seen as a key pillar in Hong Kong's desire to maintain an enhanced position in international finance. So it was approved, but goes into effect later this year. No, we don't have to wait for this to happen with Hong Kong to move forward. No. I know maybe one or two of you may have had that question in your head. So no, this is just to show you it's not just the United States. The UK already have their stablecoin legislation intact. And Hong Kong trades with the majority of countries around the world. So the passage of Hong Kong's stablecoin bill has significant implications for its global landscape. By them establishing a regulated framework for stablecoins, it allows them to do cross-border trade. Stablecoins can facilitate faster and cheaper transactions compared to traditional methods. Think of this. Pay attention. You have countries that each have stablecoin regulations. There's countries that are way ahead of the United States. We are actually behind. So the Genius Act that the Senate is moving forward with, that then has to go to the House, which most likely will be approved, the United States is behind. This is one of the reasons why President Trump is pushing so hard for us as a nation to catch up, but also to move forward as the world leader in cryptocurrencies, as President Trump has suggested. So when you have these other countries that have already passed, just think about it. Other third world countries have already passed stablecoin regulations. Third world countries. But the United States, the roadblocks, these stablecoins, folks, is what will back our currencies along with gold and other commodities in order for our currencies to be revalued in the new banking system. So don't dismiss what this is from Hong Kong and their stablecoin regulations. It's connected to the dong, connected to the dinar, connected to the US dollar in every currency. Goldilocks is stating that it is clearly evident that the banking system, through the Bank of International Settlements, is preparing themselves for a digital transformation and new currency values for exchange rate shifts. All of this, folks, is connected to the overall GCR and the new banking system. See, the new banking system is what is needed with gold as an asset. July 1st, Basel III, stablecoin regulations to provide stability in the global banking system and the movement of money swiftly. All of this is needed as a foundation for a new banking system. All of this is needed as a foundation for the global GCR. I hope that you are getting the full puzzle and picture of how this is a global event with many moving parts that are all now falling right into place. There are many of you that were under the impression for a long time that you just wait and wait and wait. But you are now seeing that your wait has put you so far behind because the puzzle pieces are falling into place. And you, some of you, many of you, I should say, haven't even taken the first steps to prepare yourself for your blessing. Preparing yourself is not jumping on a conference call and hearing someone's quote unquote intel. It's the same intel for so many years that people have pulled out of their bloomers. And you believed. You have the opportunity to establish relationships with the actual bankers that will exchange your currency and manage your wealth. You can click the link at the top of the description and join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room. We will be gladly to welcome you and show you the way. We have many, many success stories of members that have already done so. They're ahead of many of you, and they'll help you to catch up. They'll reach back and bring you on board. Be well, beautiful people. We love you. And don't forget, Saturday Night Dialogues. We are going to have a special call. It's going to be a little change. Instead of having members to provide their bank stories during the call, instead we're going to open it up to some Q&A for people that you can have the opportunity to ask us for advice on establishing your relationships with wealth managers. That'll be a great opportunity for you, beautiful folks. Be well. Ciao. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.